Once upon a time, Honda was at the absolute top of the enthusiast pecking order. They made everything for us, from front-wheel drive sport compacts to rear-wheel drive sport cars to mid-engine supercars. They had the highest revving engines in the business, the best shifters in the world, and VTEC. And then there was a little bit of a lull while Honda was busy concentrating on selling tens of millions of boring cars to normal people. But now, Honda is fully back with two cars for us. So naturally, we're here to answer the world's dumbest question. Which one's fastest, brah? You can help support these videos by joining the Hagerty Drivers Club. It includes a subscription to our award-winning magazine, unlimited access to our valuation tool, 24/7 flatbed roadside assistance, free classified listings, exclusive coupons and offers, and early access and VIP perks to select Hagerty events. More info in the link below. Welcome to the glory days of Honda. And where VTEC is concerned, at least in America, it all started here. The NSX contains the only naturally aspirated double overhead cam VTEC V6 that Honda has ever made, and likely ever will. The C30A revved to 8 grand and made 270 horsepower. It, thanks to its lightweight aluminum construction, dusted all of its Ferrari competition. And the S2000 dusted everything in the revs department. The AP1's 2-liter revved to 8,900 RPM, faster than any Ferrari had ever done. And it made more power per liter than any other car ever made. This AP2 trades some revs for torque, but the F22C1 2.2-liter still pulls to 8. And this CR is the lightweight S2K. That all-aluminum NSX weighs 240 pounds more than this S2000, which hits the scales at just 2,790 pounds. And the Integra Type R weighed 230 pounds less than that, which means this 4-seater weighs 470 pounds less than that all-aluminum supercar. It does have the smallest engine here, but the 1.8-liter V18 C5 was another Honda monster, redlined at 8,400, but with a limiter that allows 9 grand. All of its 195 horses have to get to the ground through the front wheels. So at the launch, this will be at a disadvantage. What happens afterwards? I don't know, bruh. Let's find out. Wins. Look, it's the heaviest car here, but it has enough power to give it the best power to weight ratio. And since it's mid-engine, it puts all that power to the ground and just launches right past the other two cars, and that's exactly where it stays. Its famously way too long gear ratios don't hurt it here because it's on the VTEC high lift cam lobes the whole way, leading to an easy victory. The S2000's front engine layout means it's got a good deal less grip off the line than the NSX does. However, it's got a lot less torque. And so mostly it just bogs. However, if you beat the snot out of it, it can get to 60 just 0.3 of a second behind the NSX. But here at the end of the quarter mile, it's 6.5 car lengths behind. That has a little bit less to do with power than it does with aerodynamics. That enormous CR spoiler really slows the S2000 down, and so its trap speed is a significant 6 miles an hour slower than the NSX. The Integra Type R was a monster in its day for sure, but it's just out-muscled here. It makes some of the most psychotic four-cylinder noises you will ever hear, and it hits 60 miles an hour in just 6.6 seconds. But after that, it just kind of slows down. It manages just 93 miles an hour on the quarter mile, which, by the way, put it ahead of just about every single sport compact, hot hatch, and enthusiast car of its day. If you wanted to go faster than that, you needed supercar money. Sounds like VTEC kicked in. Anyway, next up it's Honda's new sport compacts, racing the NSX to put old school Honda against today's turbo twins. I am in the brand new Acura Integra Type S.
And I'm in the Honda Civic Type R.
They have the same engine, transmission, driveline, suspension.
Because they're the same car.
This thing weighs 36 pounds more.
Yeah, and you got 5 extra horsepower to make up for it.
Mine has a better exhaust.
Mine's got real sport seats.
Fine, well, mine has a spoiler.
You call that a spoiler?
Yeah.
That's nothing compared to my big Lang.
And I suppose you're going to tell me about how stiff it is, too.
Your suspension.
How's that even relevant? We're drag racing.
Are we? Or are we sitting here wasting our audience's time listening to you boast about how enormous your supposedly big Wang is?
Don't you make me show you.
Randy, spoiler alert, I never got to see your Wang.
Well, you're good off the line, brother. I gotta give you that.
The mid-engine rear-drive NSX takes off like it got rear-ended. Meanwhile, the two new cars limit revs in neutral to protect their transmissions, making hard launches a careful balance of clutch slip and frustration. The Integra won't let you fully disable traction control, the Honda does, and yet they're dead even. They're dead even, it turns out, from start to finish, with just 0.02 of a second separating them at the finish line. The turbo twins use super short gearing and tremendous torque to make up ground through first and second gears. However, the supercar's high-speed aero advantage means its relative disadvantage starts to wane near the end, and so the NSX manages to hold off the two youngsters until just after the finish. It's so close that we did a roll race to see what would happen if you eliminate the NSX's launch advantage. the same result. The NSX's instant throttle response gives it a quarter car length jump, while the two new cars' turbos are spooling. And then they spend the rest of the race pulling ever so slightly on Acura's old legend, which is the NSX. Here's a shocker. Two effectively identical cars from the same manufacturer with the same engine, the same horsepower, and the same weight are exactly the same speed. But the cool thing is they're the same speed as an icon from 30 years ago from that same manufacturer. What have we lost in the transition from screaming VTEC to turbos? Well, certainly not speed, although we did lose a good bit of induction noise. And here's another thing that just hasn't changed. Honda is still on top of the enthusiast world. I'll take mine as a Civic Type R because, let's be honest, who doesn't love a big wang?